Welcome back to another video, guys. Today we are going to be discussing why the 350Z and the 370Z are some of the best first sport cars to own. Let's break it down. So in this video, I'm gonna highlight 5 reasons why that statement is true. And the first reason has to be the naturally aspirated V6 engine that comes in it. Now, why is this engine so special? Well, Donut Media posted a whole video on the science behind the VQ engine. This is not just a normal V6 engine. This engineering design inside of this V6 is spectacular and some of the most unique styling and engineering inside of a naturally aspirated V6 engine. So Nissan knew they had to live up to the name of the 300ZX and the 240Z. They had to live up and make a great new entry sports car coming into the 2000s, which was announced as the 350Z. The 350Z was an amazing car. So you may be curious, why did the 350Z stick out? Well, first off, everyone had the general assumption of sport cars being hard to maintain, they're super expensive, and they always need to be in the shop. Well, a lot of these cars tend to have a lot of issues when they get older, but this was a new thing coming into the sports market, the 350Z. This was a new sports car that really had a name that backed up its reliability and performance. So then people were like, this car looks really good. And the 350Z looked far ahead of its time. It was a lot more beautiful than these other sports cars coming out into the market. Nissan was the first one to step above and beyond to make a new redesign to stick out above all the other manufacturing brands. And then it was a naturally aspirated V6 to where you could turbocharge, put a supercharger on it, you could tune it, you could do anything to the car to make it push more power. And that was the second topic. The power of the V6 engine was immaculate for its time. And people were like, wow, this may be the next biggest sports car. So people were like, okay, we gotta rush and buy this thing. So then they bought it. And that's why all today you can see flooded 350Zs on the road. They were good looking, they had good power for the time. You could tune them and everyone wanted to have them because they were a rear wheel drive sports car with a lot of power and had a good history of being reliable and also not hard and not too expensive to maintain. So for the first reason, it was the engine that sold the 350Z. The second has to be the looks and aesthetics of the vehicle. I mean, you could do barely anything to these cars and make them look like they're $80,000 sport cars. They are not cheap. And also, if you haven't noticed, all those 350Zs and 370Zs were made in Japan. And guess what they used in Japan? Good quality materials. And they, in Japan, for some reason, they are so particular and so very precise with their cars. They do not like making mistakes and they own up for their mistakes and they fix them. That's why the Japanese car manufacturers ruled the sport era market for the 90s and 2000s. So they always stuck out for their performance and their looks. I mean, just look at this car. It's a beauty. So the third reason is dependability. These engines and these transmissions have been known in the past to last forever. Nissan made a good name, or the Datsun, whatever you would like to call them, they made a good name for their dependability, as well as all the other Japanese manufacturers like Honda and Toyota. They had their name set out in the sports car market for being reliable, dependable, powerful, and they were a heck of a car to tune and make fast. That's why everyone loved them. That's why everyone loved these cars, and you can find them anywhere on the car market. That's what's so amazing about these cars, the aftermarket support, the availability. I mean, really with those 3 reasons, that should show you on any sports car, but you know. So number 4 has to be the price. Since the availability was high on these cars, you could get them and find them anywhere. But the problem is, some people think, oh, they're gonna be abused, which is true. But guess what? There's so many of them. You can find a ton of them for a great price because the availability is high on them. A lot of people, a lot of young kids are looking for this car. So therefore, you're gonna be seeing a lot of people sell these cars online with $200,000, 230,000 miles on them, selling them for dirt cheap. They could still run for a good long while after that, as long as it wasn't majorly abused and the maintenance was kept up to date. So therefore, these cars are not only cheap, but they're also reliable. And that is something that you just couldn't find in a sports car back then. And the fifth reason, you're either gonna be terribly disagreeing with me or agreeing with me. So to some people, this exhaust of the naturally aspirated V6 sounds amazing. There was this meme back in the 2000s that you would be hearing a crazy loud exhaust, you would be thinking it's a freaking Lamborghini or something. When it pulls up to you, kind of disappointing, you see just another standard Japanese sports car on the road, which actually did hit a bummer for a lot of people. But these V6 engines and their exhausts sound amazing, and you do not even have to do much with them. The stock exhaust could use a muffler delete. Sure, it'll cost some drone, but man, does it sound amazing. And it makes your car breathe better. It gets you a little bit more power, but dadgum, these cars sound so amazing. Here are a few clips. Nissan 370Z and the 350Z. We've talked about them today, and sure, you're either going to disagree with me or agree with me with some of these topics. This is just something that tends to sway a lot of buyers' views into. This is a cheap, reliable, and available sports car. This is something you can't really find nowadays. And not to forget to mention, it's naturally aspirated, which means you can tune them, you can throw stuff on them, you can make them faster than any other car on the road. So this is really just an epitome of a perfect cheap sports car for any young enthusiast driver who just wants to have a good, fun driving experience and also not have to break their wallets in maintenance and repair costs. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you do like the content we have here, please hit subscribe. It helps us out more than you'll ever know. And if you like this video today, please hit that like button. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below, which I will feel free to answer. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.